everyone. I'm gonna try and keep this video as brief as I can because I keep ending up rambling as soon as I get into the context and the story of what happened. But essentially, if anyone has any tips or advice of how to live life without sight and be independent, but also how to keep in touch with friends and how to essentially keep calm and carry on, because on the 8th of March my FND did something very new. I've developed a new type of post symptom and I call it a flicker shut, and essentially my eyes are stuck. They're shut. My eyelids are closed and they're stuck like that. And if I try to force my eyelids open, my eyes and my eyelids both flicker, and also my eyes involuntarily roll and move with the eyelids when I try to force my eyelids open, which is really not good. And I hope no one feels offended if I say that I felt like I was blind for a day, because I really could not see the whole day. I just saw the back of my eyelids, and then when I tried to force my eyelids open, I would be able to see through a tiny slit, a tiny gap, like at the bottom of my eyelids, but I would not manage to maintain that for very long because the effort would just wind me of energy each time. And I would only successfully manage to keep these open for that tiny slit open for seconds, and then it's glued shut again. And I've never experienced anything like that. During my seizures I can get doubled vision, blurry vision, and I've had my eyelids clamp shut during seizures before, but it would always last either seconds or minutes, and it would always be during the seizure and never after. And on this day, I had a seizure and my eyes were I had my speech, I had my mobility, I had everything else working fine with my body except the eyes, except the eyelids. And I found that really scary and isolating and disorientating and confusing. And it didn't last 24 hours, but it started at breakfast and I went to bed still with my eyes like that, and I woke up at 2 a.m. and my eyes were still glued shut. I was awake for a couple of hours and then I fell back to sleep, and it was sometime during that second sleep and waking up the next day when my eyes did restore themselves and recover. I can now see, but it's would anyone feel offended if I worded it, if I said that I was blind for a day, or is that the wrong way to say it? How do I go about wording and expressing and articulating my experience? Because I don't want to offend anyone by accidentally sounding biased or anything like that, because I'm not a blind person, even though I feel like I experienced for one day what it potentially is like being one, because I really could not see. I just saw the back of my eyelids. And I know about voiceover on devices. I did tell Siri to turn voiceover on, and I did try to do some of the tutorials that they have for voiceover in settings, but the thing is I kept making mistakes, but I couldn't see what mistakes I was making, and I couldn't figure out how to undo my mistakes. And unfortunately, I found voiceover more of a hindrance than a help in the end, because it's just a completely different navigational system compared to how a sighted person uses their devices. But now that I've got my sight back, I'm going to try and learn how to work voiceover. In fact, I tried to do some more of the tutorial yesterday, and now that I can see where I'm going wrong and I can it's making much more sense to me now that I can see. I'm going to try and see if I can learn how to work voiceover on both my devices so that hopefully I will be better prepared for next time. But if there are any other tips and tricks, particularly like on the mental and emotional side of coping without vision, without sight, again, forgive me if I'm saying the wrong words. I am ignorant when it comes to this. Like, I do not have experience, and I do not know the right terminology or anything like that. So please be patient. Like, please correct me where I'm going wrong, but equally, please be kind and compassionate about it, because I'm very much learning on the go. And this is the thing with dynamic disability. I don't know if that was a one-off and if it will never happen again, or I don't know if it will come back, and if so, when and how bad and how long it will last. I don't know any of that. And also, I don't know if this is going to become a regular thing for me now. So it feels really scary. I'd really appreciate any tips, any advice, and anything that I could learn or do or prepare to help myself better should this ever happen again. I'm sorry this was such a long video, but thank you for hearing me out. Take care.